Hey guys, hope everyone's having a good day. So today we're going to do a technical analysis on Ashton Eaton, the former world record holder in the decathlon. I thought it'd be a little fun to do a video on a decathlete because one, I haven't done one, and two, there are some unique differences that they do compared to normal throwers. So we're going to be working with two principles that are different from normal throwers. So, two are decathletes and heptathletes like to jump vertically, all right? And then the second one is that they don't like to be super rotational, all right? So, we're going to be working off those two principles, okay? So, this is him at Chula Vista, I'm pretty sure like 2011. From this uniform, it would either be between 2008 to 2011. All right, because 2012 they got their Olympic uniforms. So, yeah, it would be between those years. I'm pretty sure 2011. Thank you runnerspace.com, by the way, for providing the video. It is so damn difficult to find a video of this guy throwing. Let me tell you. Which is crazy because he was a former world record holder, and he was the world record holder before the one now. And he held that world record for quite a long time. He throws Discus is considered his weakest event in the decathlon. He still threw like 47 plus meters. That's not bad at all. Especially for a decathlete, that's not bad. And yeah, like I said, very, very hard to find a video. I had to scour the internet to find a good quality video that was not filmed on potato from him in college or on the Olympic channel, which I will get clapped with a copyright super fast if I do that. If I take footage from the Olympic channel, so I'm not going to even bother trying to do that. So this is the only video. So thank you, Runnerspace, because I was about halfway through, looking, and I was like, oh, I don't think I can do a video on him because there's no videos, which is crazy. But yeah, so let's get into this. So remember, the two principles that we're going to be working off of that are different from normal throwers is that multis in general like to jump super vertically, and they like to not rotate. And the reason is because, their other events require them, a lot more jumping and stuff. And then two, really discus and maybe shot put are the only times they actually have to really rotate at all. So, they're not natural. A lot of them aren't natural. Some of them, some multis, they're naturally gifted at throws, but for the most part, not really. And that's why you see a lot of, multis, which multis are like heptathletes, decathletes. They just do like a glide and shot put or like a little step or something like that. They usually don't do the spin. Some do, but most of them don't even bother doing that because it takes way too long to learn to throw far. And they just don't have the time to do that. And shot put's worth like the least amount of points in a multi. So they don't even bother. They just do the glide or the step. All right. So let's get into this. So we're going to be working off these two principles. And also, I'm going to be saying like a lot of technical critiques. This is in no way a bad thing. For a decathlete, he has pretty actually solid technique. But the thing I say for a decathlete is because, they have 9 other events besides discus that they have to learn and be really supremely good at, especially at this level, a world record type of level. So, they don't have time to learn events, nor should they even bother trying to master the throwing events, considering they're not really worth that many points anyway. So why even bother? But yeah, so we're going to be working on this. Let me just play this a couple times. Replay that. So you can see that big jump at the finish. We're going to get to that. All right, so let's get into this. Wine's pretty evenly balanced in terms of weight distribution, wide stance. Gets a nice stretch here. Nice, simple, easy wind. Goes. Doesn't really shift his weight over his left that well. Actually keeps really good separation between his knees here. But he kind of falls in out the back just a little bit. You see, like, he's starting to fall a little bit backwards this way, so it's going to cause him to over-rotate this way. So he should have already been off his left leg by here. And then he kind of just jumps up. Again, decathletes like to jump up. All right? That's something I learned a long time ago from a way better coach than me, and several other multis coaches. So you'll tend to see them be a lot jumpier. All right? Just because it's just easier to teach them that way, and it will produce okay results. It's not the most ideal thing if their goal is to throw the discus as far as possible. Obviously, like, we know that, especially people who watch this channel. I'm a big believer in not jumping, but for decathletes and, well, heptathletes don't throw the discus, but for shot put, it's honestly kind of better to teach him just to jump in the middle, honestly. Now, obviously, he's not like doing like a 40-inch vert in the middle. It's just like a little bit, but it's a lot easier to say that than like really delve into the mechanics of the sweep. Like, you see, like, he's leading with the knee in the sweep. His chest is pointed down. He's looking kind of down. He over-rotates. But he does a couple good things. One, he has a wide sweep. And two, the discus stays behind them the entire time. All right? So that's really good. He gets here, jumps a little, over-rotates, so he's on this side of the ring. And that's going to cause him to be blocked off at the finish. All right, so he's looking down. He's really stiff in his left arm, which is understandable. So he's using the principle I like to coach, which is just look at your left arm the entire time out the back and use it as a guide. And that really helps him get all the way around. So he does a fantastic job of that. But you see, like, he doesn't really cut in his sweep. He kind of just stops his sweep there and then just kind of hops up and then lets it land instead of being more aggressive with that sweep. But again, he's doing that because he's leading with the knee, so he can't really. So he cuts it in there. Pretty good separation between his knees, actually. That's really nice. And the most important thing, the discus is behind him. All right? So that's really good. He's still using legs before arms, or legs before upper body, so that's really good. Really solid there. So he actually does a really good job of keeping his right heel up. Really good. Obviously, he has really strong dorsiflexion because he's, a decathlete and he runs and jumps. So he better have good dorsiflexion muscles. So it should be pretty easy for him to keep the heel up, which he does a fantastic job of. And then right here, he's a little bit blocked off. All right. And a little bit on this side of the ring instead of like down the middle. But, whatever. Again, this is not the most technically proficient throw ever, nor does it need to be. All right, I'm just simply pointing out what I consider errors in the throw. And then from here, he actually lands and catches the discus pretty far back, actually. And he's actually at a pretty good spot here, besides being just a little bit blocked off. Just a little bit. It's not even that bad. But you see, so from here, he rips with his head to the left. He starts pulling a little bit, and he jumps up. All right? So he jumps up for a couple reasons. One, because he's blocked off, so he can't really rotate all the way through. And remember, the principle we're working off of is that, multis like to jump vertically. So just like he did in the middle, he's going to do at the finish. And that is to jump, because they just naturally want to do that. It's very hard to teach a multi to, rotate, work the ground. And, don't even bother wasting your time unless they're just naturally gifted at it. I've worked with one that I've actually taught the spin with that was actually just naturally gifted at just spinning. And most multis can't really get that concept. And it's no fault on their own. It's a very weird thing, to be naturally good at. But yeah. So does a fantastic job too. Like, this is how, like, Mac Wilkins used to finish, actually. Like, it's just, that 40-inch vert in the air. But he actually has a really surprisingly good block. It's just in the air. But you see, like, he's ripping his head that way, over his left shoulder. But he does a fantastic job of just... He jumps, but he still gets his energy kind of through the discus a little bit. You see how high he just jumped? First of all, like, that's actually kind of insane. Like, look how high he is off the ground. That's actually kind of crazy. But then again, he is a world record holder in decathlon for a reason. So, yeah. But, yeah, and then, it flies. But yeah, just wanted to point out some differences in how, like, multis throw compared to, like, actual throwers. And I thought this would be a little fun video because maybe you guys watching this video actually have a lot of these problems and don't even realize it. Honestly, he throws a lot more like a high school guy than, a elite level discus thrower. He's a lot closer to someone that throws in high school. And that's not a slight or anything. Because, again, he doesn't, nor should he be, like, he shouldn't be the most technically proficient person in throwing events. Because they're not worth a lot of points. Discus is his worst event. And, unless you throw, like, uber far, they're not worth that many points. So why even bother, like, trying to be super technically proficient? Plus, sometimes you just don't have the time, especially for decathletes. You have 9 other events besides discus you have to worry about that are worth way more points. All right. And in my opinion, I think pole vault is probably the hardest thing for decathletes, just because I think that's probably the hardest event in track and field is pole vault. So, and a lot of, people, a lot of decathletes start out as like sprinters or hurdlers or something. And then they move to the decathlete. They don't really start as like pole vaulters, and they really especially don't start as throwers. So, yeah. But, yeah, overall, it's not bad at all, honestly. Like, it looks like a junior, like a really good, solid junior in high school throwing. Or like junior or sophomore throwing in high school. Like a really solid, where like you'd go and be like, oh, like that's cool. Oh, he's not like terrible. I'm not like throwing up or anything. I like the side of his technique. It's just, a couple things he could fix, and, he could throw way further. But then again, he doesn't really need to. I'm saying if he was an actual thrower. But yeah, overall, for a decathlete, solid technique. Does a lot of things good. He does the most important thing really well, and that's keeping the discus behind him. All right, and that's rule number 1 in discus. You got to keep it behind your right hip or your left hip if you're left-handed. All right, so he does a fantastic job of that. It's not like he's flailing all over the place. Obviously, this is a technique that works for him, and he can repeat over and over again. And he does some good stuff, especially his right side right here. It lands. He actually does a little pre-turn, keeps rotating, lands extremely dorsiflexed in his right ankle. Doesn't let his heel drop, so very nice. And he actually rotates pretty all the way through, and then he just jumps, which is the part I don't like. But again, multis like to jump. So, yeah. Overall, hope you guys learned something. I know this isn't normally, nor am I going to suddenly just be reviewing a bunch of multis throwing, because, this is a throwing channel. But I thought it'd, change things up a little bit and stuff. So, yeah, hope you guys learned something. Let me know in the comments, who you want me to do next. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope everyone had a good 4th of July. And see you all later. Bye.